I read my husband's journal. He says that he hates me and hopes I die. My husband has kept a semi-regular journal throughout our 4-year relationship. He does not support it being hidden. I have always respected his privacy until now. We had a heated conversation, and my gut told me to read it, so I did after he left for work. He wrote several times that he hated me, and at one point, he said when I was sick, he hoped I would die. When I read those words, I packed up my baby and me and went to a friend's, where I'm now. I took pictures of all the pages. After our conversation, I told him I needed space to cool off and would be home soon. I booked with my therapist and contacted a lawyer. We had a rough patch recently that lasted about 2 weeks. It was a dark time, but we pulled through. There was no violence, no moments where I was afraid of him. Just sincere conversations about complicated feelings. The notes of hatred correspond with that rough patch. The rest of the journal is tame and reflects the man I know and love. Primarily, little self-talk around work, family stuff, goals, and habit tracking. He has sent me several warm messages since I left. He says he's glad I'm taking space for myself, that he looks forward to reconnecting when I come home, that it's okay to have little hiccups, that he loves me, etc. And I was sure our relationship was over when I read that he hated me, or even when I felt the need to violate his privacy. But the warm messages and the rest of the journal have me wavering a little. I understand the need to blow off steam when things are tense, and journaling is a healthy way to do that. But never in even our darkest moments have I fantasized about his death. Splitting up, maybe, but this feels so sinister. I don't know how I could ever feel safe around him again. Is this just healthy venting, and I'm overreacting here? Has anyone else had similar thoughts about a spouse they then got over? Or is this a man I need to protect myself and my baby from? Edit to add context. The rough patch was about his feelings for another woman. He didn't cheat, but his friendship with her makes me uncomfortable. The part of the journal where he says he hates me was written as a love letter to her. He says he thinks about me dying and being replaced. TLDR. My husband and I had a rough patch, and he wrote in his journal that he hates me and hopes I die. I wonder if this could just be healthy venting, or if not, what steps I should take to protect myself and my baby. Relevant comments. Jealous Ad said, I've been married for 17 years, and I've never wished my spouse would die. Like what? Does he know you have seen this? He just left it out like he wanted you to see it. And you are the mother of his child. OOP. He doesn't know I've seen it. He has always left it out. Top comments. Callaway said, It is over. He wrote a love letter in his journal to another woman? You know it is more than a friendship, no matter what he says to your face. Stay strong, contact an attorney, go to your home while he works, and gather more of your belongings. I am sorry. I don't believe his words now. He sees a strong woman stand up for herself, and reality hits him. 20 Keller 12 said, Could you email those pictures to someone you trust before he finds out you've seen them? First update 2 days later. I hope I'm doing this right. Thank you so much for all the advice and words of encouragement. Some of it was tough to read, but still deeply appreciated. I wanted to do an update because many people were concerned for my safety. I took a commenter's advice and sent the pictures to a trusted friend. She pointed out that a passage I initially read as, every day I think about telling her, actually very clearly says killing her. I guess my brain couldn't comprehend that at first. I received a ton of helpful perspective and support, but that comment, in particular, might have saved my life. After I digested that, I called a crisis line, and they helped talk me through the shock. They also put me in touch with a center to help me get more affordable legal help. I bought some more time from my husband. I told him I enjoyed getting out of town and I'd like to stay an extra night or two. I have therapy tomorrow and an appointment with a social worker to make a safety plan. I have a good crew of family, friends, and professionals supporting me. I have absolutely zero regrets now about reading his journal. My gut told me something was off, but I couldn't have imagined a worst-case scenario as bad as this. I'm so glad the inner alarm bells were louder than my conscience this time. Nothing about this marriage is worth risking my life to salvage. TLDR. I initially misread a part in the journal that says he thinks every day about killing me. I will get away from him for good. Keep me out of the news and stay. Second update 6 days later. I just want to say a huge thank you to this community for helping me through a challenging time. Your comments and messages have been such a comfort, and the kindness of internet strangers touches me. At the social worker's suggestion, I reported his journal to the local police, which was, unsurprisingly, a 1/10 experience. The officer I spoke to scolded me for reading his journal, talked about his reasonable expectation of privacy, and threatened to tell my husband I had reported him. I had to advocate for myself firmly and stress that I was afraid for my life. It was an awful conversation, but now there is at least a record that includes photos of the journal. The family lawyer advised me to file a protection order immediately. The order would ban him from all contact with me and our child, bar him from our residence, my workplace, and any other places I request. He would then have to prove to a judge that he is a fit parent to be able to see his daughter again. And then we would go to mediation to try and agree on what visitation would look like. Another wrench in this situation is that we own a business together. I have an appointment with another lawyer this week to discuss my options. The company was my idea. I'm confident I can run it without him, and I want to. But he's put a lot of time into it, and it's the primary source of income for both of us right now. It's a good moneymaker, and I'm worried he'd fight me tooth and nail on this. We take turns going in, so I went as usual on Saturday, with a friend and a baseball bat. I continued intending to reconcile, doing video calls with the baby, etc. While at our workplace, I found another journal, page after page, love letters to this other woman going back months. The progression from, I liked seeing you at the grocery store to, I drove past your house today, was wild. He writes about how he's deeply in love with her, can't wait to marry her, etc. He wrote about every interaction he'd ever had with her, and the poor woman seemed wholly innocent and oblivious. Even what he perceived as flirting seemed like basic politeness. He mentions a few other times that he wants me to die. The most recent entry was from the day before. He tells her he thinks I might be breaking up with him, but that's fine because he never liked me that much anyway. If he's upset about anything, it's about losing the house and how our friends and community will perceive the breakup. I'm curious if people think I should warn the other woman. It's my instinct not to, at least not before the ink dries on our impending paperwork. I was already concerned about how he might react to being served with the protection order, most worried that he might try to sabotage our business or trash the house. Given how preoccupied he seems with his public image, I plan to confront him about the journals and use the protection order as leverage. Here it went down. I left the journal and my baby with my friend and went to our house with 2 trusted male friends and the baseball bat. They waited on our porch. I told my husband they would come in with the bat if they heard anything louder than a speaking voice. I told him I had to tell him something he wouldn't like to hear, and he needed to know that I had already taken steps to protect myself. I told him I read the journals, precisely what he said about wanting me to die and thinking every day about killing me. I said I had taken photos that they were backed up, and a trusted source also had copies. I also have the original copy of the journal full of love letters. I wondered until this moment if he had intended for me to find them, but he was blindsided. He tried to say it was just venting, but I told him I would not take any chances or entertain anything he had to say about it. After reading what I read, I will never trust or feel safe around him again. I told him that no one who knows him knows about this yet. The men on the porch just know I'm breaking up with him and need support. This was true, aside from the friend I called to stay with and the other friend I sent the photos to, who lives on the other side of the country. I said I would protect his reputation here if he cooperated with me. I told him I didn't have to ruin his chances with the other woman, but I could. I said that he could either do what I needed to feel safe, or I could have that safety court-ordered. He asked what I wanted, and I said I wanted him to give up the business. We'll sort out the details after I speak to the other lawyer, but I like his keys and changed the passwords on everything now. He didn't put up any kind of fight. He wanted to avoid hearing anything about what it would look like to go through the courts. He didn't ask about our baby. He calmly got up, got the keys, and asked if I wanted anything else. I told him any communication with me should only be about separation logistics, like arranging a time to collect the rest of my things. Since then, he has been blowing up my phone, saying I know his heart, let's walk back from the edge, let's talk to a therapist, He's sorry his words hurt me, etc. I tell him he's crossing my boundaries each time, and he backs off. He said his mom and sister had everything, and he helped him get help. Hey, support's been cooperative so far. He's interviewing for a new job, seeing a therapist, and updating me on his movements, though I didn't ask for this. I've temporarily moved in with my parents. My commute to work is longer, but I have help with baby and home-cooked dinners. I am settling into new routines, doing so much therapy and yoga. I inherited a small cabin before my husband and I met. It is currently being renovated, and the original plan was to move in there with my husband and baby when it's done. The cabin is in my mother's name because she's never trusted my husband, correct, and wanted me to shield it from him in case of a divorce. Thank you, Mom. So I will have a permanent home for me and the baby soon. The dust still needs to settle, and it could get worse before it gets better, but I'm optimistic now. I'm confident I will come out of this as a badass single mom with an incredible child, a thriving business, and an adorable tiny home. Honestly, the thought of having all those things alone without my husband is so freeing. I've got a great village supporting me. Thank you all so much for being part of it. TLDR. I confronted my husband about the journal, with backup. He steps away from our shared business and stays out of my life. I have a protection order ready to go if he acts up. Story 2. Ida for yelling at my mom over a lousy birthday present? My F17 birthday is today, and I received one gift from my parents. An expensive jewelry set that came with matching earrings, a necklace, and a bracelet. I am a bit of a tomboy and don't wear any jewelry. I do not hate girls who do, but it just isn't my style. My mom knows this, and despite knowing it, she has given me variations of this same gift every year since I was 12. My sister, F19, gets the same, but she is a girly girl and loves it. My brother, M16, usually gets gaming gear of about the same value, which he loves. Every year, I ask my mom to get me something other than jewelry. I even give specific examples, like a snowboard or a phone of the same value. Every year, I open my gift, and it is jewelry, and I hate it. I never wear it, and it just gets added to the pile of never-worn jewelry in my cupboard. This morning, I was again given jewelry, and this time, I snapped. I yelled at my mom, asking why she got this, and she ignored my requests. She said it was the same thing my sister got at my age, and that I should be grateful I am earning anything, let alone something so expensive. I argued back, saying I wouldn't say I liked it. She should have known I would hate it, and didn't understand why she refused to listen. I walked out to the beach to get away and calm down. My dad and sister have both texted me, saying I must come home and apologize to my mom. She means well, and just wants to get me some nice stuff for special occasions. My sister said I am ungrateful, and should get a job if I wish to do other things so badly. My brother texted saying he was on my side and understood why I reacted the way I did. I will probably be grounded over this regardless, but my reaction was kind of fair. I don't know. Maybe I am just being a moody teenager. Update post, February 21st, 2024, 2 days later. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate all the advice, and I read every comment. First, to the people saying, just ask for the receipt and return it, I have asked before, and I'm sure you can imagine the reaction. Yes, I have been grounded for a week, and I'm posting from my school computer because my phone has been confiscated. Second, I'm aware that it is a first world problem, and that not everyone gets gifts. What upsets me is that this sort of thing happens at Christmas too, from my extended family, and I'm the only one treated this way. It's a huge problem. And also, it is not a cultural thing or traditional thing. Mom is just an upper middle class woman with a snobby attitude to anything that isn't traditionally feminine. Third, it's an ongoing issue with my mom and family not respecting my choices. She hates everything about me that isn't the stereotypical girly girl. She also hates the LGBTQ, so yes, to the commenters saying it could be fear related to that, you are likely correct. I am bi, but didn't think it was relevant to my previous post at the time. My choice. I decided to take everyone's advice and double down on it. I went home yesterday and made the most extensive apology I could muster. I even cried, convinced Mum that I loved it, and was surprised. Probably the only reason I'm not grounded for a month. I have 1 year left and you guys are right. I should play the long game. I would love to be petty, but I think it'll be more competent to use her. Fuck everything. I am going to put on the biggest show of my life and turn into the daughter she wants. Sell everything she has given me once I turn 18 and use it to help me buy a car and go to trade school, which she is never going to approve of, LOL. Maybe I'll get lucky. She calls me something even more expensive if I act well enough. I have always thought maybe she would come around, but yesterday I just snapped, and I think I've finally clarified that she isn't changing.